Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So if you have accepted that you're weird, feel free to stay. And by staying, make sure that you hit subscribe and turn on post notifications so that you are notified every single time I upload a video. As you can see, I'm barefaced, coming to you all nice and everything, and my hair's wet. I just washed it. I need to clip that out of the way. But we're gonna do a get ready with me, a little chatty one. I haven't done one of these in a very, very long time. So yeah, we're just gonna chat, some girl chat, you know that. You would know. I will try to put a little picture, possibly somewhere here or there, of the products I am using, because I'm not going to be talking about every single product. I have more or less, most of the products I'm using because I've already done a video. I'll put a card up here or there of my favorite like makeup brands and stuff like that. But if you want to know where to get them and all that stuff and whatnot, I have a whole video on that. But this video is just pretty much just us chit-chatting and getting ready. Quick disclaimer, don't copy everything I'm doing in this video. Do not copy everything I'm doing in this video. This is one thing that I've been doing recently, because you know them brow gels and all that stuff that like first of all, my eyebrows are stubborn as anything of life, so and also I ran out of the brow gel that actually does work on my eyebrows. So at the moment I've been using I've been using Got To Be as my go-to for sticking down my eyebrows too much. So I just spray it on the little spoolie and I'm just gonna like run it through my eyebrows in the direction that I want them to stay. Like I said, don't do what I'm doing. Do it at your own risk. Make an informed decision. Don't follow what I'm doing just because I'm doing it. And please do not use Gorilla Glue. I might just do this and then I let this dry. I'm really bad at doing eyebrows and I don't like doing them. I don't like doing them. So I'm just gonna use the Cabral and I'm just gonna be back on here when they are on. Eyebrows are on and now I just need to clean them up. So I just thought we would have a little chat. Agony and we'll have a little chat about how we communicate with people. I'm not out here to try to make it seem like I'm like perfect with my communication and all that stuff. Nope. I'm not. The only reason actually why I brought this on is because obviously I did realize that this was more like earlier on last year. I've been working on it like since last year obviously, but I've also been working on it through in my like therapy sessions and stuff like that. I realized I had an episode where I was more I was very harsh to people in my life. Anyways, I'm not gonna specify which person it is. I'm pretty sure if you're watching this, I've already apologized to you. But anyways, so I was very harsh to that person. And I realized that coming more from an angle of being reactive as opposed to actually responding to what the person was saying. And what I mean by this is like, if you look at how you interact with different people, based on obviously what they are saying to you and stuff like that, you will realize what I mean. I'm not saying that it should be a thing that every single time you're communicating with people, you're always gonna be reacting instead of responding. But here's what I mean by this, right? Most people, right, they don't actually listen. Most people tend to hear you, but they do not listen. Like if you listen to yes, I'm going to steal Drake's song here for like 2 seconds. Like Drake literally said in one of his songs, you hear but you don't listen, which is so true. Like most people, they actually just hear what you say, but they don't actually listen to what it is that you're saying. So from that, I was just like, this obviously rings true to so many people, because if you realize where communication like breaks down within certain things, it's mostly because of the fact that, one, when you are actually talking to someone, it's either you chose the wrong time to talk to them. You see why I don't like doing eyebrows? You see this rubbish right here, now I'm gonna have to fix that. Like, anyways, like most of the time, it's either you probably chose the wrong time to speak to them, first of all. That's why they didn't actually listen to you, because you didn't take it upon yourself to actually check to see, okay, is this the right time for me to be bringing up whatever it is that you need to bring up to them? Are they in the mindset to receive what it is that you're saying? Are you saying it with the intent of what's the intention behind what you're sharing? I mean, it depends also with context of what it is that you're sharing, but some people, most of the times, let's say if it's something that has affected you, it's more of, yes, you're sharing because you want them to hear you want them to listen to you, but the delivery is not always the right. The execution of how you shared that information is not always the right one. And I've realized this. Lockdown was also like time for like a lot of self-reflection. I don't know if everybody was in that same mindset, but for me, it really was. I realized a lot of things about myself that I don't like. There's a lot. There's a lot of things I realized that I do that comes more from a defensive side, as opposed to me actually willing to be open to receive what somebody might be saying. And I feel like majority of the time, most people are like this, in particular Black people. I would probably don't shoot me for this, but I feel like mostly like Black women tend to be on the defensive side, of which I get it, but I don't accept it. And I'm also not going to justify this behavior. Let me just explain a little bit why I don't accept it. Because the thing is, right, why I said specifically Black women is that I realized for most of the times that I actually speak to people, there's certain times you'll be trying to share something with them, and it automatically, based on their tone, their body language, and everything else in between, the way they start responding to something, they're already coming at you as if they feel attacked for some reason. Of which I realize this is mostly to do with like past trauma that they haven't actually addressed, or some people haven't actually realized that they have that trauma, and it's really bad. Like, it's so bad, because like most people, they miss opportunities to build long-lasting relationships with people, whether it be platonic or it be romantic, but they do miss out on that purely because of how they communicate with people. That's so crazy. Like, okay, well, like someone could say something as simple as, oh, maybe you might just want to reconsider how you say certain things. Like, to me, if you come to me in an aggressive tone, I'm not going to be listening to anything you say, and I'm also not going to hear anything you say. I will shut off, like literally gone. And that says, I'm gone. I run. Like, I'm a runner. She's a runner. She's a track star. Like, people need to try and understand that not everyone receives things the same way or with the same, like, the intent you might have for what you're saying usually will be lost based on how you say it. Like, you might be saying the best advice ever, but if you come to me and you're saying it in a way that you want to exercise your authority over me and try and make it seem like I should listen to you, or that you know what's best for me, babe, I'm not listening to you. I ain't hearing you. I ain't listening to you. I don't want to hear shit. And literally, I will leave. Like, I will actually leave. And it's not even like if it's a phone call, if it's like, it's even worse. On a phone call, I will literally probably mute my end of the phone, or I'll probably just leave my phone in the other room and go to a different room and you'll be talking to yourself. If it's in person, I will literally leave. Like, when I mean I'll leave, I will literally get up and leave. I don't have time for that. I really do not have time for it. Like, no. Like, people need to learn how to talk. Like, people don't actually know how to talk to each other. It's so bad. Most Black women, the thing is, the reason why I've seen that, like, I feel like they come from a defensive end is the fact that, like, to an extent, I feel like they've been silenced for so long. This might be within their relationships and all that stuff, and also within the family. Most of them usually starts within the family, that they're not given a chance to voice their opinions, and they end up projecting that issue all the time. They don't realize this, and it's so bad. It's really, really bad. Like whenever you come across any person you're talking to, whether you're at work or you're just socializing with people, you end up like projecting whatever trauma or thing that happened Lord knows when, and because you haven't addressed it, it now shows up as you being very defensive. I'm not going to use the word aggressive because we already have an issue with that word because of the fact that majority of the world already views black women to be aggressive. I'm not going to use that because that's a very, very negative word. But I'm going to use the word reactive because that's literally how it is majority of the time. We're reacting to what's being said. It's not responding. You haven't actually taken the time to process what it is you've been told. The first thing you're going to do is jump straight ahead. And the person literally said AB and you're already on MNOP. And it's like, whoa, how do we get here? Like, how? That's what I mean. Like, it's just look at how you communicate with people. Like, I might sound as if I'm being judgmental right now, but I really am not. Like, I'm not doing this video to bash people or to bash black women and be saying that, like, oh, black women don't know how to talk. No, I'm not saying that. Like, listen, I'm just saying that I've just mostly noticed it because I mostly interact with women. But then while we're on this as well, I'm not gonna say that like men are any better, because for men it's more of like that they just don't communicate. It ain't even like they're reactive, they just don't communicate. Majority of the time, particularly black men, like it's it doesn't make sense. Like but like they will turn around and be like, oh, black women, y'all talk too much, or you expect men to be psychics. Yes, there are certain women that do that, but then at the same time, men just don't bother sharing most of the things. It's like it's not a bad thing for you to share your emotions. It's not a bad thing to share that you're struggling with something. It's not a bad thing for you to be actually saying that, oh, maybe you might have wanted to rethink doing A, B, C because this is what's potentially going to happen. But most men don't do it. And the thing is, some of them potentially might be to the fact that like they have opened that up at some point and then they're taking the piss out of. So now they've got their own defensive, because like women, their defense mechanism is that they jump straight to conclusions. Men, their defense mechanism, their way of reacting to certain things is that they just shut down. They won't say anything. They will now become more emotionally unavailable purely because of what somebody else has done. But then also again, like I said before, it all goes straight back to the fact that you haven't addressed certain traumas that's happened in your life. You haven't even realized that like certain things that happen when you're a child, certain ways that your parents interacted with you, maybe your parents or one of the parents that usually would shout everything instead of actually communicating with you because they didn't know better. That's probably how they are. Because it's like the same thing of monkey see, monkey do. It's more difficult to undo learned behavior or behavior that you grew up with purely because it's like it's been ingrained in your brain. That's all you know. So it's like if your parents were like screaming and shouting at each other, or that's how their method of sharing any information with you, I'm not going to say communication, sharing any information with you was through shouting, then to an extent you're going to think that that's acceptable. It's the same thing with if you are raised within an environment where your mom was abusive to your dad or your dad was abusive to your mom, you're going to see that as something that's acceptable. There's two ways about this. You could end up seeing it as if like, oh, okay, so if you're a guy, you could be like, okay, so that's how I should treat women. If you're a girl, you could see it as like, oh, that's how men treat me. So it could either be you're going to choose to accept that behavior, or you're going to go the other end where you're like, okay, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to choose to not be like how my dad was. I'm going to choose to not be how like my mom was. And I'm not going to lie, it's kinda exhausting for the people that actually end up dating you, if you don't realize this. I did say I wasn't trying to attack people, but like I'm just trying to make you realize that like it might be just it's worth just looking at how you interact with people purely because you might not really, like, people might not be understanding you purely because of your method of sharing information with people. You might be feeling that, like, people are misunderstanding you, or might feel misunderstood to a certain extent purely because of the fact that the way you share information with people, it ends up having the intent behind what you're trying to share it doesn't exist, or the person is no longer willing to receive it, and it frustrates you because you feel that potentially this information was going to be useful to that person, or it was going to benefit both of you, or benefit you in some way, or it's going to help that person to understand you better. But the method you choose to deliver that message, you didn't do it in a way that was showing that person that, like, you want them to understand you. You didn't do it in a way that made that person feel like you wanted them to benefit from this, or you came from it from an angle of trying to educate. Does that mean, I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense, or I'm literally just chatting a lot of rubbish right now, but, like, I'm sure someone understands what I'm saying right now. I'm pretty sure of it. Like, I'm sure of it. But that's pretty much just like that's majority of what I actually just wanted to, like, go through today, because that's, like, I don't know if, like, people realize how much they are limiting themselves in terms of their self-development, and then potentially having certain relationships with certain people, and how to an extent they're basically self-sabotaging because of the way they communicate. And, like, I'm not gonna lie, I already said this, I'm not saying that, like, I'm perfect at it. It's something that you have to basically, like, work on a daily basis, because, yeah, like, as much as I have realized that I do this, I'm not out here preaching to make it seem like, oh yeah, I'm like perfect, I'm like the prime example of communication. No, it's just the fact that, like, I've realized how flawed my communication method was, my communication style is, and I just feel that, like, some people also have that same issue. Like, they might have not realized it, and they might just be around a lot of people that tell them, or that never told them, that the way they communicate is fucked up. So I'm taking it upon myself to tell you that your communication is fucked up, and try and take more time in actually listening to what the person's saying before you, like, open your mouth and start saying whatever it is that you have to say. And it's not even only just, like, in personal life, it's also at work. It's also at work. At work it's even worse. I mean, at work, if you are one of the people that can shut off your emotions depending on what job you're doing, or you're one of those people like I am, that I go to work and I'm not going there to make friends, I'm just going there to do my job and leave, that's it, then fair enough. But obviously you still need to be aware of the fact that the way you're communicating sometimes might come off a bit hella sus. Hey ho, I'm just gonna pop my eyelashes on, trying to not make this video too long, because I know anytime I ever do a chit chat get ready with me type of video, it always ends up being a lot longer than I want it to be. And if you actually want to know all the steps to how I do my makeup and stuff like that, I've done a whole video, like literally a full-on video of my everyday makeup routine, which is basically exactly the makeup I'm doing right now. Yeah, and if you want to see how I do my everyday makeup routine, link is somewhere up there. It's a long video. Like I said, I'm trying, like, I'm really bad at multitasking in terms of doing makeup, because, like, I like to take my time doing makeup, but then also at the same time it doesn't work well for video, for me to be doing makeup and talking at the same time, because it ends up being very long. So I'm just gonna finish off the rest of my face and I'll pop back on here when I'm done. Yeah, so I basically just finish off the rest of my face off camera, but if you want to see how I actually do my foundation routine and all that stuff, I'll put the link down below. It's on my IGTV. So yeah, you can go check it out on there, or you can watch the full video of my everyday makeup routine. But yeah, that's pretty much all I had to share for this video. And if you feel that this video might be helpful to someone, somewhere, somehow, or if you enjoyed it, feel free to share, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.